Antarctica, as I mentioned in our previous lesson, is home to millions of penguins. Well, the most abundant and the most cute ones are the Adelie penguins. The Adelie penguins are what you can find roaming over the entire continent, particularly along the coastline. But they have to walk around 31 miles to reach the open waters during winter season. Now, other than that, these penguins have a thick, fat layer beneath the skin to help them adapt to the harsh conditions of the Antarctic landmass. These penguins are fun-loving and they usually stay in large groups. They are very smart and sleek swimmers. They are usually found in large numbers along the coastline and they live in colonies. Besides the Adelie penguins, other marine species found in and around the Antarctic landmass are the blue whale, which is huge in size and one of the most predominant creatures found in the oceans surrounding the Antarctic landmass. Besides the blue whale, we also have the colossal squid. We can see how huge the squid is. The man holding the squid looks so tiny in front of the squid. Well, this is particularly found in abundance around the continent of Antarctica. Now, besides these two, we also have a very unique worm found here. That is the giant worm. Do you see how ugly it looks, right? It also has teeth. Well, these giant worms are 20 centimeter in length and 10 centimeter in width. This is how huge these worms are, rightfully named the giant worm. Now, besides those marine species, we also have some birds that fly to the Antarctic landmass and there they feed on the fish that is found in the oceans surrounding the continent of Antarctica. However, they fly back during winters. So, we have migratory birds that visit the continent of Antarctica. And these birds usually include the snow petrels. How white they are, almost like snow. Besides these snow petrels, we also have the giant petrels. The giant petrels, though are not completely white in color, but they are actually giant in size. You can actually get a rough idea of how giant these are because as even in front of these penguins, they actually look quite big in size. These petrels are very clever and they're ever ready to snatch on the penguins and feed on them. So the penguins are really scared of these giant petrels. Now, besides these petrels, we also have the albatross and the kelp gull. These two are the migratory birds that visit the continent of Antarctica. However, they return back to their homeland during winter season. So, during summers, several varieties of birds come to feed on the fish found in abundance around the Antarctic landmass. But they fly away in winter season. Now, besides those giant petrels, the penguins also need to be very careful from the killer whale. So, the killer whale, as you can see in this picture, they stay calmly beneath the surface of the water, waiting to pounce on the little penguins that are just jumping into the water to have a good swim. These killer whales, also known as orcas, are large fishes that are found in the water bodies that surround the Antarctic landmass. They are ready to grab on any penguin that jumps off these huge glaciers and ice sheets to take a good swim in the water. So besides the blue whale, the colossal squid, the giant worm and those migratory birds, another important wildlife of the continent of Antarctica are these killer whales or orcas. Now, besides those killer whales, we also have other aggressive predators that are found in and around the waters of the continent of Antarctica. There are a variety of seals, like the leopard seal. Besides these leopard seal, we also have a cousin of seals, that is the sea elephants. The sea elephants are just like the seals, but they have a small elephant snout in the front of their face. So these two are aggressive predators and they feed on the penguins and other smaller species that are found in and around the continent of Antarctica. So different types of seals and sea elephants are abundant in the waters surrounding the Antarctica. These mammals again are migratory in nature, that is, they migrate to warm waters during winter season. Now all these mammals, the whales, seals and penguins, feed on swarms of shrimp-like shellfish called krill. These are small but they are rich in protein, and these krills are found in huge numbers in the waters that surround the Antarctic landmass. In our previous lesson, we learned that the continent of Antarctica is present in the frigid zone. They receive slanting rays of the sun almost throughout the year, and therefore the temperatures there are very, very low. So in these extreme low temperatures, only a few number of plants can survive. So Antarctica supports only an impoverished community of cold-tolerant land plants that generally grow during the short summer season. So these plants here, particularly the mosses, the lichens and fungi, they usually grow during the short summer season, which lasts up to a few weeks or a month or two. And after they grow in the short summer season, they are able to survive the long winters that are usually dark over the continent of Antarctica. So Antarctica does not support a huge variety of vegetation, but only a small or an impoverished community of cold-tolerant land plants that are mosses, lichens and fungi. Therefore, the low temperature that prevails across the continent of Antarctica makes it a cold desert. Thus, Antarctica is a cold desert with an average temperature of minus 60 degrees Celsius. It is believed that the continent is coldest at the core, while it is a little better, or the temperatures are a little high or normal around the coastline. That is why the survival of different species that are found over the continent are seen in abundance along the coastline rather than at the center or the core of the continent. Now, though the continent is home to a small variety of animals and other species and also supports the existence of a limited amount of vegetation, it however does not support the existence of permanent inhabitants, particularly humans. And that is why Antarctica is often regarded as a human void zone. Here, human population cannot reside permanently because of extreme cold conditions and because of the lack of resources that is necessary for human habitation or human existence. So before we proceed with our lesson, could you help me answer this simple question? What is the average temperature of Antarctica? Is it minus 45 degrees Celsius or minus 60 degrees Celsius, or is it minus 52 degrees Celsius? Well, the correct answer is minus 60 degrees Celsius. So, the average temperature of Antarctica is minus 60 degrees Celsius. So when the continent of Antarctica was being explored by different explorers from across the globe, they were also in search of fur seals that were found particularly in the Southern Ocean. And while doing that, they discovered that there are a number of important mineral resources that can be found or traced on the continent of Antarctica and around the continent of Antarctica. So eventually, after many researches and studies, it was found that the continent is rich in many mineral resources, including oil, copper, gold and silver, titanium, iron ore and also uranium. So these were some important mineral resources that were discovered and are still present in the continent of Antarctica. However, the exploitation of these resources is not allowed according to the international treaty, that is the Antarctic Treaty. Now, though we have heard of a number of falls found across the different continents on the earth, have you ever heard of the blood falls? Well, the white continent on earth, that is Antarctica, is known for its blood falls. Now, what exactly is this blood falls? The blood falls is actually a result of the melting of glaciers that are present on the Antarctic landmass. Well, research and studies show that the water of the blood falls is very rich in iron. So when the iron comes in contact with the air, it oxidizes just like the rusting of iron or any other such metal. And that is why when the water flows down as a result of melting of glaciers, it comes down, it appears to be red in color, and so it derives the name blood falls. Now, have you ever been to Mars? Well, there are a lot of things that you can discover and study about if you ever happen to visit Mars. But don't worry, there are certain things that are found both in Mars and on the Antarctic landmass. The Antarctic landmass is gifted with a very rare and special mineral known as jarosite. Now, jarosite is a sulfate mineral that are found in the core of the ice sheets and the glaciers that are present in Antarctica. Well, this jarosite is believed to be found in Mars too. So there are various experiments and research going on to find if Antarctica has similar conditions as that of Mars. Now, because the continent of Antarctica provides us or offers us with a huge variety in not only its wildlife but also its mineral resources, there are a lot of research camps and research observatories that have been set on the continent of Antarctica by different countries from across the globe. So the continent of Antarctica, because of these reasons, is also called the continent of science. There are a lot of experiments, research and studies that goes on the continent of Antarctica, and these help in the study of global weather, climatic patterns and geological history. So the continent of Antarctica, which is also the continent of science, attracts geographers, meteorologists, scientists, researchers from across the globe. So teams of explorers, scientists from different countries have set up research centers in Antarctica to have a better insight in the study of all these fields. So there are a number of research centers and stations that have been established on the continent of Antarctica to carry on with different studies in different fields. However, the McMurdo Station of the United States is the largest research station in Antarctica. So here is a board that shows us the McMurdo Station that is present in the Antarctic landmass, and this is an image that shows us how large this station is, rightfully the largest research station on the Antarctic landmass. Well, Antarctica is definitely quite interesting. It contributes a lot to the space studies of the Earth. How? Well, the cold, dry air above Antarctica, particularly during the long winter months, makes it an ideal place to set up space observatories. Here, during winter months, there are space observatories that study the similar conditions that are prevalent both in Antarctica and that in Mars. They also have, it is believed that this place on Earth as compared to any other place is the closest to Mars, and this makes it easier for the scientists and researchers to carry on with their studies. Well, it is the same place which also helps us to see the icy moons of Jupiter and Saturn. So Antarctica definitely is an interesting one and is rightfully called the continent of science. India, just like other countries, also have set up its own base camps and research observatories on the continent of Antarctica, and it too is contributing a lot over the different researchers and studies that are going on in and around the continent. So in this lesson, we were able to understand the wildlife and vegetation of the continent of Antarctica, and we saw how the continent has a lot to offer in terms of its mineral resources and is also a hotspot of different research and studies. And that is why the continent is called the continent of science. It also gives an ideal location for space studies and for setting up of different space observatories. In our next lesson, we'll take a look how the continent of Antarctica has given rise, is home to different space stations from different countries, and how the international treaty, that is the Antarctic Treaty, plays a role in preserving the continent and preventing it from any form of exploitation. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers or to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock test. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.